Hello and good afternoon from Budapest, venue for tomorrow's Hungarian Grand Prix.
The circus rolls on, and with just 5 races to go, the battle for the championship is really heating up.
It's Saturday, it's tea time, it must be F1 special.
Coming up on today's show, calling the shots, directing the coverage for 500 million people. Mika Häkkinen back home in Finland. Ferrari putting the wind up their rivals. Split-second timing, how they measure 1,000th of a second. And the best of the action ahead of tomorrow's race. The Hungarian Grand Prix is particularly tough on cars and drivers, but it often produces surprises. Last year, for instance, Damon Hill in the underpowered Arrows nearly won the race after starting third on the grid. But what about today's qualifying? Well, here's James Allen.
Thousands of Finnish fans are here this weekend hoping to see Mika Häkkinen extend his championship lead. Everyone was expecting a close battle in qualifying. Jacques Villeneuve has a new sense of purpose after his third place in Hockenheim. David Coulthard may not be on for the title, but he still has a point to prove. The Hungaroring is Damon Hill's lucky track, as he no doubt explained to Sly Stallone. But the man they all had to beat kept his counsel. Hungary's a tricky circuit, and Giancarlo Fisichella had the worst possible start when his Benetton lost grip in the final turn, slewed off the track and clouted the tyre barriers. Other front runners took notice. Amazingly, Fisichella was able to drive his damaged Benetton back to the pits. On track, Damon was a full 2 seconds off the pace with his opening gambit, but things were to improve markedly later in the session. Mika Häkkinen put in his customary blistering first lap to take provisional pole position, but he knew, along with the others, that the eventual pole time would be a lot faster than that, somewhere in the 1 minute 16 second bracket. Williams weren't quite on the pace here. Just watch the rear of Jacques Villeneuve's car bouncing over the bumps en route to 6th place, while teammate Heinz-Harald Frentzen was suffering from a chronic stomach upset and bravely battled through to 7th place. Michael Schumacher was not optimistic about being on McLaren's pace in qualifying, and that didn't stop him from trying. The Ferrari was bouncing around like a jackrabbit, but the speed was definitely there. Schuy was about to spring a real surprise.
This is a Michael Schumacher lap par excellence, and he goes into provisional pole position. I mustn't get too excited because there's a long way to go.
Never a truer word spoken. The McLaren was working beautifully around here, the rear end hardly flinching over the bumps. Coulthard snatched pole back from Schumacher immediately. The stage was set for another Häkkinen special. The Finn worked the superior handling McLaren to death over the curbs en route to his 8th pole position of the year. Party time for the Finnish contingent. Eddie Irvine muscled his way into 5th spot, but his time was a full second slower than teammate Schumacher. Johnny Herbert, meanwhile, had another nightmare. First he spun, then he missed his last lap through a misunderstanding with the team. 15th place and another dark day for Johnny. Hill and Jordan had been looking for a top 6 qualifying spot. In the closing minutes, the 96 champion gave it his best shot. Smooth, economical and very fast.
He's done it! Damon Hill, in my opinion, has done as well as he could possibly in his wildest dreams have hoped to have done.
Schumacher was looking for a miracle and a front row start slot, but there's only so far you can push your luck.
He's blown it.
And he's going to go off. He did exactly that this morning, same place, and well, that's thrown the lap away. You might as well go in the pit lane, Michael. Didn't work out.
Listening to you.
Car just looks way too stiff at the back.
So another big Saturday night out for the Scandinavians in Budapest, and another commanding position for the championship leader. The 8th time McLaren have had a 1-2 on the grid, behind them Schumacher and Damon Hill. Eddie Irvine is 5th, Jacques Villeneuve 6th, Heinz-Harald Frentzen 7th, with Fisichella recovering to 8th. Johnny down there in 15th slot.
I was expecting a bigger gap for the 2nd place, but it was more difficult than I expected, and I think that David pushed really hard and he was performing really well.
On my best lap, I knew I was a little bit conservative in a couple of corners because I didn't want to outbrake myself. And when I tried on the next run to pick up on that, I did actually go quicker, but then overcooked it on one of the turn 11 and ran over the curb. So I hope to use the experience on the last run, but I was a little bit late going out and caught some traffic, so I had to back off.
I'm pretty confident, to be honest. I mean, in qualifying you push it very much to the edge. In the race you calm down a bit and you then look for consistency rather than for the single lap time, and we'll see then.
On the last run, yeah, the car was pretty good. I was very happy with the balance on the car on old tyres, not so much on new tyres, but we got it right for the last run. I just didn't use the last set very well.
We always look competitive all weekend. I mean, I lost a bit of time because of a frost in turn 2, in the middle of turn 2, but in truth, you know, there's a second between me and Michael, and I certainly couldn't have made up a second gap even without the frost there. But we were competitive, and that's a good thing.
We're definitely going to give them a hard time. Whether it's hard enough, whether the cushion is big enough for them or not, I'll show you tomorrow.
I've been racing here such many years already in Hungary, and this is definitely the best car I've ever driven, and it just handles really well and it's really smooth.
So Häkkinen on pole yet again. Now you may have heard Murray and I complaining that the TV directors missed some of the important action in whichever country we happen to be in, but it's not always quite as easy as it seems. Due to the number of cars and the number of cameras all around the circuit, it's a pretty tough job. The subject of this week's F1 People is the man who has to cope with the Luxembourg, Austrian and German Grand Prix as the TV director.
My name is Fritz Melchert and I'm the director for Formula One. The work of a director in Formula One is to mix 40 pictures to one picture. This picture is the most important picture for all viewers at home. Coming in 10 seconds. If I tell, please follow Schumacher, all cameramen listen to me and are able to show Schumacher. But besides Schumacher, we have also to take care of Häkkinen, to take care of Coulthard, to take care of Hill. So we follow Schumacher, but have an eye still on the other. Helicopter next is Schumacher. We have 2 helicopters here. One helicopter is with a Westcam camera. This is a camera where a man sits in the helicopter with a joystick. Then we have a downlink to get the feed from this camera here to this truck. A second helicopter is in the air to have the 4 onboard cameras. The signal goes from the car up to the helicopter 1 kilometer high, and the picture comes then back down to our truck. We have here 3 remote cameras, hothead cameras. This is a camera which works on the pit wall and looks inside the boxes.
Dann Steiger, Coulthard. Und 1, Coulthard. Und 1. Come on. Fastest lap.
At the moment, the busiest thing is the qualifying on Saturday, especially if you have a situation as in Austria. If you have 30 minutes, nothing on the track because it is raining, and then in the last 5 minutes you have 22 cars on the track. And you have still to show the fastest lap of each racer, but you have here the timetable, you have the monitor with the controlling for this, and it's also a little bit luck.
Achtung, 8, erstes Auto. Häkkinen ist schnell. Kommt in die 9 als erstes. 9.
I have to do the best thing what I can do. I always said, inside the truck, I always say to my colleagues, okay, this picture is for my mother. And then they know, because I want to have the best picture. And if my mother likes, I know millions of other people who like this picture.
Sehr gut, bravo.
Top man, Fritz. Now, with aerodynamics all important, Formula One teams use wind tunnels to maximise their performance on the racetrack. Ferrari's just opened a very impressive new facility, and of course, it's very special. Built on a greenfield site at their Maranello headquarters, this is perhaps the most sophisticated and elegant facility of its kind anywhere in the world. At the heart of the tunnel is a huge fan, 5 metres in diameter, which produces an airflow equivalent to 125 miles an hour. Rory Byrne is Ferrari's chief designer.
Wind tunnel development work is absolutely essential in Formula One, so every team does wind tunnel research. But the advantage of having your own tunnel as opposed to hiring a tunnel, A, is that you've got the use of it all the time. B, you can update the facility, you can make changes to the facility. In a nutshell, it gives you exclusivity, it gives you more research time in the tunnel because you've got a tunnel available full time.
The car is in fact a 65% scale model of this year's Ferrari. It sits on a rolling road powered from below, while smoke streamers and sensors on the car provide feedback to the engineers.
It's like all experiments. You need constant conditions. You need a constant set of conditions in which to develop. And that's why we use the wind tunnel rather than a car, because on the circuit, wind changes, circuit temperature changes, so you're getting all sorts of changes that you can't control. And those really prevent you doing the sort of experiments we can do in the wind tunnel on the car, because we're looking for very small improvements. I mean, improvements of the order of 1%, improvement in aerodynamic efficiency is a significant improvement, and it's quite difficult to get that level of repeatability on an experiment at the circuit on the car.
Well, you can be absolutely sure they'll be working flat out there in Maranello to eke every ounce of performance out of the car as the season reaches its climax. Now, they call Budapest the Paris of Eastern Europe. It's a very historic city, but the modern world of Formula One can still add some buzz.
Coming up after the break, Häkkinen in Helsinki and the inside track on timing a Formula One car.
Welcome back. A year ago, Mika Häkkinen hadn't even won a Grand Prix. Now he looks a dead cert for a Formula One World Championship. He's answered the critics. Louise Goodman takes a look.
Mika's had plenty to smile about already this year, and the future's looking bright. Helsinki will always be home, but as his racing career has flourished, so the Finn has extended his horizons.
Certainly somewhere inside there's a little bit still burning of feeling back to Finland, the friends, family, all this. But then end of the day, you know, I live in all the time in a suitcase anywhere. I'm traveling around the world. So me to come back here, I mean, for me already in Monaco is like in Finland. Finland is just so close end of the day. I mean, going around to Brazil, Australia, that is so far away. Europe is end of the day a very small place.
Mika married his girlfriend, Finnish TV presenter Erja Honkanen, earlier in the summer. The couple have set up home in Monaco, and Mika's loving his newfound domesticity.
In the Grand Prix, you're thinking all the time. Morning to evening, you think. And after 2 days, if you have a chance to be home, you realize, hey, no, there's no rush anymore. Don't have to rush anymore anywhere, and you can just take it easy, have a walk, go in a cafeteria like this to have a coffee and read the paper, and you can relax. It's funny if you look in this, I'm not smiling too much. And even these days, if you saw me winning in Brazil or in Melbourne, I was not smiling too much. And that is my character. At the moment I feel full of energy. I'm looking forward to go to the next race. And I feel like the season even hasn't started yet. You know, like in the past, already this time of the year, I feel like, oh, I have to go to the next race and I'm not going to have a chance to win a championship this year. Now I know I got the chance. So I'm full of energy and I try to win it.
It's already been a fantastic year for Mika, and with his title chances growing stronger race by race, the best could be yet to come.
On many occasions this year, Mika's been at the top of one of these, the official timing screens. All the drivers dream of being at the head of the queue to say they're the fastest in the world. In fact, whenever the cars join the racetrack, all eyes in Formula One are on these.
Time. It's an obsession for every racing driver. Every waking minute at the track is spent looking for ways to shave tenths, hundredths, thousandths of a second off that all-important lap time. Gone are the days of stopwatches and handwritten lap charts. The hardware needed to run the current system costs millions and travels in free space-age transporters. The timing information is transmitted instantly to the pit wall, the garages, the media centre and, of course, the commentary boxes.
That is a terrific time! 0.2 of a second inside!
The amount of data is mind-blowing. The starting point, a transponder in the nose of the car.
A transponder is a small transmitter mounted in each car. Each transponder is with different frequencies, so for us it's easy after to know who is crossing the line. What we do around the circuit, it's in fact one measurement on the finish line. It's not only the lap time but the speed of the finish line. We do the same for a first intermediate and the same for a second intermediate. So we measure all the times and the speeds of the car 3 times on one lap.
At top speed, 1,000th of a second represents just 9 centimetres on the track. But at Jerez last year, 3 cars incredibly recorded exactly the same time.
This is amazing! I cannot believe this!
They can measure even smaller fractions.
We are able to guarantee a 10,000th of a second of precision. And we use this 10,000th of a second of precision to measure the speed. The speed is measured between 2 antennas, distance of 15 meters. We measure the time and we calculate the speed.
Pit stop timings are measured using sensors buried in the tarmac under the car. And a similar system helps detect anyone jumping the start.
When the car arrives ready for the start, the sensor is able to measure the energy coming from the transponder. So we know before the official start if the car moves like that just for a moment or continuously maybe of 2 or 3 meters.
And it's go, 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 go!
The improvement in timekeeping is maybe not the same as the Formula 1 car, but you have each year something new, a new measurement, a new value, a new something which facilitates the understanding of the TV viewers for the race.
And on those computer screens, Damon Hill finished 4th in qualifying for tomorrow's Hungarian Grand Prix. Damon, why are you so good round here?
I honestly could not put my finger on why I've gone well. I've had a bit of luck. I mean, I came here the first few years. I was in a very competitive car, so I think maybe that gave me the opportunity to learn a few things. But in all honesty, I like the place. The car slides around a lot. I think that might have something to do with it. I like it when I can feel the car moving. and there's a lot of corners, so there's a lot of work to do, and it gets me fired up, I think.
So what you're saying is it suits your driving style?
I think there has to be something in that, but the truth is that I could not do it without the equipment, and the Jordan team have worked like maniacs to try and get the car improved on these kind of circuits. And you have to think back to our performance in Argentina and Monaco, where we were really struggling, and to qualify fourth here is a vast improvement.
Since you left Williams, you've had a barren spell, really, by your standards, a year at Arrows and the first part of your season with Jordan. How do you cope with that?
Well, it is the tough bit. I mean, it's the bit where you don't know whether it's ever going to get good again. But then you think about days like today and hopefully tomorrow as well, and that's your reward for all the hard work you put in. So you just have to travel in hope, really.
Frentzen took your place at Williams. He's done more or less absolutely nothing with it in a year and a half. Do you have a little quiet snigger at that?
No, I might sort of refer to that as perhaps an indication that it's not always a matter of having the best equipment, and it's not always as simple as saying, oh, because you've got the best equipment, therefore you can get the results will come easily. There's a lot more to Grand Prix racing than that. Heinz-Harald Frentzen has not done the miracle job that I think Frank expected of him, and I think it just shows that it is a lot more tougher than it looks.
Will you be driving for Jordan next year?
I think I will, but we'll have to wait and see.
And finally, the prediction for the race tomorrow. What's going to happen? Where are you going to finish?
Well, I think that it's going to be a close race, because I think that the Bridgestone tyre looks a little bit fragile here. It's good over one lap, perhaps gives them more of an edge in qualifying, but in the race, if it's hot tomorrow, they could be a little bit catchable, certainly from Michael's point of view, but I think I could have a good race. I'm hoping to finish where I start, but if I finish any better than that, it'll be a little bit of luck.
Good luck tomorrow, Damon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Martin.
Great to see him back, isn't it? But could he win tomorrow? Well, stranger things have happened. ITV's Hungarian Grand Prix race coverage starts at 12:20 tomorrow with all the latest pre-race news. And we leave you with a driver's eye view of the Hungaroring.
If you'd like to know more about Formula One, the website address, sponsored by BusinessNet, is www.hungary.